The last model I want to demonstrate here is how to do regression with both trend and seasonality. So what we will do is we're going to copy this reg trend, or let me get out of that. Copy reg trend, over copy, create a copy, okay. So this one's going to be reg trend and seasonality. We will copy over these things in just a minute, so we're not going to worry about that necessarily. Sales and fit are okay. We're going to add, right after period, we're going to add 3 columns. So I'm going to highlight from C to E and click Insert. We're going to call this Q1, Q2, and Q3. Note when you do indicator variables, you never include all of them. So for example, if I were doing yes or no, I would just have, an indicator that would say yes. 1 for yes, 0 for no. We have 4 quarters here. We're not going to include all 4 quarters in the analysis. And if you did that, you can try that on your own. You'll see that it'll be removed. So that's called the dummy variable trap. So we don't want that in our model. So we're just going to include Q1, Q2, and Q3. So to create those, what we're going to do in C2 now is we will do equal if parentheses month parentheses $A2, so that's going to reference the column because we want the column to stay the same as we do this because we'll drag it across. That'll be equal to 3. If that's true, comma 1, comma 0. So then we'll hit enter. So let's say I need to put a parentheses after the 3, comma 1, comma 0. There we go. All right, so then we can double click and send that down. Interesting. Okay. So equal if month A2 equal 3, comma 1, comma 0. All right, so if I copy that from C2 to there and then double click, send that down. All of these are not changing. So let's try not to anchor that. Let's try to anchor the so maybe initially we anchor and then no. The parentheses in the wrong place. All right, so let's go back to this. This will be beginning with this formula. So $sign the A2 parentheses order of operations. Okay, so now let me drag this across and then down. So you can see September is in, should be in Q3. So now with quarter 2, we're going to change that to 6 and change quarter 3 to 9. Now we'll double click and send these down. All right, so formula. In cell C2, it's equal to if month A2 equal 3, comma 1, comma 0. Then for Q2, that's same thing except 6. And then Q3, that's 9. Then you double click and drag that down. All right, so all those are represented there. We don't need those numbers. So now we have the data we need to run the model. So beginning in, so we'll put the regression output in I. So data analysis regression. So now our Y range will be the sales. That's what we're trying to fit. And the X range will be from periods B1 to E32. Labels there. Output range will now change. That will now begin in I1. And we'll click OK. Overwrite the data, yes. All right, so now you can see that our t-stats are all above 2. That's good. Those are our coefficients that we'll need for the model. The fit's a little bit better. The mean square is still high, but given a regression model, it's about as good as we can do. So now with the fit, we'll edit this appropriately. So this will now we'll add some numbers. So this will be plus J19 anchored times Q1, so that's in C2, plus D2 times Q2, or excuse me, not Q2, J20 anchored, plus J21 anchored multiplied by Q3, which is in cell E2. So enter there, and I can drag that down, and then we can get appropriate forecast. Note that if Q1, Q2, Q3 are 0, like what happens in December of every year, the Q4 is actually represented by this constant intercept, and even in this case, it has a positive association. Or excuse me, the t-stat's greater than 2. So that's good in the sense of it's meaningful. So everything in this model is meaningful. The fit's okay. It's not great. But this is a meaningful model demonstrating that there is trend, there is seasonality. And with the other techniques we discussed, you can make it even better. And it looks like in this particular case, the best model would be the Holt Winters multiplicative seasonal model. That's true for this company of Amazon. Other companies, it may not be the case. So you can run each of these models, pulling data from the internet like Finance, Yahoo, or MSN Money, and see what model best fits in terms of forecasting sales, and then use that to forecast sales that would go into your pro forma income statement, which is the main plug and user of that model.